Hey, I'm Adam Glendie with the Pursuit Counseling. Today, I want to talk with you about one of my favorite books. It's called Hardwiring Happiness by Rick Hanson. And in his book, Rick talks about neuropathways, and not to get too nerdy, but essentially our brain, the things we think about over and over again, they create highways in our mind for the same type of thoughts to go again and again and again. And so if we are thinking negative thoughts a lot, well, we're going to develop highways in our brains of those negative thoughts coming in and in and in. And so I'm going to dumb down the book so that I can understand it and share with you my understanding of the book. Essentially, there's an 85-95 thesis. And what that means is 85% of our thoughts each day are negative. That's a big percentage. 85% of our self thoughts every day are negative. And those thoughts could come from something as simple as, like, I'm not enough, or no one likes me, or I'm unhappy in my career and there's no way of getting out of it. We can create these thoughts over and over again. And we build that highway to where 95% of our thoughts are the same thoughts over and over and over again. So 85% of our thoughts are negative, and 95% are recycled from the day before. That's a lot of repetition. So these thoughts that we have, they just keep repeating themselves over and over again. Well, Rick in his book, he talks about the antidote to that. And the antidote of that is to have 10 6-second positive thoughts a day that can counteract the weight of that 85-95. So what I mean by that, a simple example that I use all the time. When I go to Publix or Chick-fil-A or anywhere that they have a name tag, I do my best to make eye contact with the person that's checking me out or taking my order or greeting me at the window. If I'm running into someone in the neighborhood, and I call them by their name and I say, "Hey, Bob, it's great to see you. How are you today?" Simply by saying the person's name gets their attention, asking them how they're doing, giving a smile. I want to create a 6-second interaction so that I can counteract that 85-95. Again, I'm getting a little brain sciencey here, but it takes 6 seconds for things that fire together to wire together. And so what that means is, like, we got to send a message and we got to receive a message, and we have to connect that thought. And so by calling someone by their name, that takes a little bit of time. Then we ask our question, then they might respond to us. And we want to create a positive experience in 6 seconds. And we need to do that 10 times a day. So I'm not a mathematician, but essentially 1 minute of positive exchange can completely take away the impact of that 85-95 thesis. That's pretty awesome. At least in my opinion, it is. So, what can you do today that can create that 10 6-second positive interactions so that it can help you get out of that 85-95? I'm going to give you another example from the book. Rick talks about taking in the good, and this is a simple exercise. So imagine you have a warm cup of coffee in the morning, you're watching the sunrise, and it's peaceful. Maybe you have birds chirping around you, and it is just a peaceful time. If you have kids, they're not up, you're up before them, and you're just relaxing, right? And in that moment, we're going to take in some joy, we're going to build some gratitude, and we're going to have contentment for the peace that we feel in that moment. And if we do that repeatedly, we're going to build that highway that we talked about in that 85-95 thesis, right? If we take that, taking in the good, and we do it again and again and again, maybe we're watching the sunset at night instead of the sunrise. Maybe we see a sweet television show or a movie, and it creates this moment of joy, gratitude, and contentment. Maybe we have a conversation with someone that just goes extremely well. And we want to be purposeful about taking in the good because things that fire together wire together. I really recommend that book, Hardwiring Happiness by Rick Hanson. And because in that book, he dispels this myth about how we're helpless to our depression. There are instances where there is treatment resistant depression. That's for another video. But most of the people that we're around can overcome that challenge, can overcome that 85-95 by doing simple things like calling someone by their name and creating 6 seconds of positive interaction, by taking in the good. And there are several more examples in that book. So if you've read the book, that's awesome. I'd love to hear in the comments some takeaways that you have from it. If you haven't, go read the book. There's a link to it in the bio. And I look forward to hearing how it's been helpful to you. I'm Adam Glendie with the Pursuit Counseling. Thanks for watching this video.